Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining me here this evening on Black Logic. I have a couple of stories for you guys, some news updates as well, some very interesting topics that we're going to cover this evening. So stay tuned, stay with me. If you're new to Black Logic, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. So every time I release or post a video, you guys are notified. So Trump begins mass layoffs at FDA, CDC, and other U.S. health agency because in a very sweeping and very controversial move, President Trump has begun mass layoffs across major U.S. health agencies, including the ones that we've mentioned, as well as the Department of Health and Human Services. And this is all according to internal memos. Over 10,000 jobs could be eliminated in what the administration calls a reset of federal health spending. Again, people are coming out warning that this could gut the nation's ability to respond to health crisis, but Trump allies say it's long overdue to trim the fat. My wife and I just came from a butcher. This is the first time we've ever done this. We're going to buy our grass-fed, grass-finished beef. We're going to buy a half a cow. We're buying a half a cow. And this is going to save us, I forgot, it's going to save us roughly about $1,500 to $2,000. We're buying meat for almost, six months, so to speak. And the butcher was asking us the different types of cut of meat we want and what he can do with certain meat, ground meat, this all sort of different things. What are the point I'm getting at? Because they're stating that they're trimming the fat. It's how you trim the fat. Now, there was reports early on, about the USAID of how they were giving them severance pay. They were quit before they got fired. I wonder if all these federal employees, FDA, CDC, Health and Human Services, are they receiving the same severance pay? I think it was something like, 3 to 6 months. And here's another thing that even though we're trimming the fat in the government, which I am all for, but again, it's the way that we go about doing it. Just firing people and letting people go and giving a couple of months of pay will not suffice their life. Because for a very long time, the Democrats, as well as the Republicans, have always been stating that we need more people for these jobs. What jobs are they referring to? Have you guys noticed that? That illegal immigrants are taking American jobs. I agree. But now that a lot of illegal immigrants are being deported, are these jobs suitable for the same personnel that you were firing in the government? These are very sedimentary jobs. They sit down, they send a couple of emails out, they do a couple of reports, they analyze information, research, and data. What other jobs other than corporate America are out there for them? Why? Because this is about the American people. Because again, this may be you, this may be a family member, this may be someone you're close to that may be getting laid off and only get a couple of months of their paychecks until they find the next opportunity. But here's my thing. What have you been working for the government? Let's take any of these people, 5, 10, 15 years. You totally engulf yourself in your job. You love what you do. Then all of a sudden, someone comes in, throw a brick through your window, and everything goes to hell. And here are you rattling in your very high levels of anxiety. Because now they want to cut the fat from the government. Again, which I agree, but it's how you do it. They're cutting the fat. Okay, good. But what about the people? What about the American people who are going to be harmed from this? Who's going to be hard for them to bounce back? They're not at fault. They applied for a job. They got the job. The people that should be held to the letter are those political officials who were the directors and chiefs and managers and supervisors on a very high level, not even the low level ones. They knew that their organizations probably were too big, or they were just trying to create more jobs, whatever the case may be. But I think a better way to go about this, and when we're talking about trimming the fat, then there needs to be a transition program. help these people find another opportunity. Do you know the stringent process that a lot of people have to go through for the federal government, open these jobs, right? I want you guys to, if you have the time, go to usajobs.gov and just apply for a job. And I promise you, it's going to be one of the most tedious, bureaucratic, lengthy processes that you've ever applied for a job before. Have you ever had that one job application, you was filling it out? You was like, wow, they asked a lot of questions and they had page after page after page, and then you finally finished. It was all virtual. You finally finished. Then you had some other quirky jobs where they try to ask you questions like you're being tested. Oh no, not the government. The government wants 5 to 6 pages of a resume. They want to know the first job you had when you was 12 until yesterday. I'm telling you. So again, government jobs, unless you have the hookup, holla if you hear me, unless you know somebody or have the hookup, it's very difficult to get a lot of these jobs. And these people, okay, a lot of these people, believe it or not, and no one's mentioning this, a lot of federal employees are prior military. Let me say it again. A lot of federal employees are prior military who probably, now some of course don't have a full pension. They didn't serve 20 years and get retirement. They wasn't injured in combat or their connected services where they get 100% of VA benefits. So this is pay they actually need to live their lives, because the little money they're getting from, their retirement or some sort of disability is probably not enough just for a basic house, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garage, something simple. But again, where's the program to transition these people so they can fall on their feet and not on their butts? I don't think no one ever attacks from that angle. Because again, in a very emotional and surreal scene just outside of the Health and Human Services headquarters, hundreds of employees stood in a line that wrapped around the building waiting to find out if they still had their jobs. I want you guys to think about that. Can we take a moment? Because this is for the American people. Can we just take a moment and visualize this for a second? One day you're at your desk doing your regular government job. President Trump's, Elon Musk, they want to cut the fat from the government. That's a good thing. Fraud, waste, and abuse, eradicated from our government. But at the same time, they tell you tomorrow there's going to be a line outside and you will not be able to enter the building and do your job. What we're going to do is we're going to cut a lot of you the night before, then have you guys lined up outside. I want you guys to think about this. We're going to line you up outside and one by one tell you if you've kept your job. If you kept your job, then you can go inside the building. If you're not, then here's a severance check and we hope you fall on your feet. Do you understand the disgrace in that? I just was here yesterday working my job. Don't have me line up in no line. Email me. Email me, text me, call me, say, hey, unfortunate Black Logic, you no longer have your position. There's a check that would be directly deposited inside your account. Sorry, we hope you fall on your feet. Good luck out there. Something to that extent. But to denigrate me, I'm coming in here to work. I got my book bag, and now all of a sudden I'm standing in a line. Again, it's the way that you do it. Not that what you're doing is wrong, but it's how you go about doing it. Because now, in my opinion, the disrespect to the American people is the problem. Yeah, we're all for you deporting illegal immigrants. Great. Possibly coming up with a national tax, one tax. Great. We love it. Keep signing the executive orders, making America great. Not again, but making America great. But not at the expense of the American people. Now, Attorney General Pamela Bondi announced that federal prosecutors will seek the death penalty against Luigi Mangione, accused of assassinating United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in Manhattan of last year. Bondi described the act as targeted, premeditated execution of a corporate leader and vowed to make an example out of Mangione to deter further violence. The case is shaping up to be one of the most high-profile federal death penalty pursuits in recent history. Good. Good. He should be up for the death penalty. See, here's my thing. I don't care if people disagree with our health services. I don't care if you disagree with it. But no man and no woman should ever lose their life because you disagree with it. No person should lose their life because here's another thing about United Healthcare. United Healthcare doesn't just have one CEO. It has multiple CEOs. It's kind of like in the military. Next man up, there's going to be another CEO. He did nothing. Now, some people are like, oh, this was symbolism. He was trying to make a sign. He was really trying to have impact. No. You murdered a man in cold blood. Like a coward. You even shot him in the back. He has a family. This will show the medical industry and the insurance industry what they've been doing to the American people, not at the expense of killing an innocent man. Because what people don't understand, they say, well, if you're not the machine, then you're part of the machine. We're all part of the machine. Whatever crime, whatever premise, ideology that Luigi Mangione thought of Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, he was absolutely wrong, and he should face the death penalty. You shouldn't want the death of anyone who's just doing their job. And here's another thing, and this is what I learned out about the CEO from United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, that this is the same man that was revamping and reconstructing the healthcare plans to lower the cost for more Americans can have affordable healthcare. So if people did their research, they will understand that Luigi Mangione killed someone, allegedly, because he hasn't been convicted, allegedly, killed someone who was basically one of the forefathers, the founding fathers, an innovator to lower healthcare costs for United Healthcare employees and members. Who would have figured that? The one man you killed is the one who's trying to make a change. And people are crying about that, well, he did the right thing because this will wake them up. You telling me him taking an innocent life is the right thing to do? You take this man away from his family, his friends, his wife, his kids. I mean, are you serious? Is that okay? All right. That's what you want? That's what you want? You work at 7-Eleven and the prices of Twinkies go up, but you're still selling Twinkies. So somebody comes in and shoots you in the back because they're addicted to Twinkies and the prices has risen and they can't afford any. Does that make any sense? No, I don't want it to make any sense because what he did made no sense. Cory Booker. In an impassioned act of political resistance, Senator Cory Booker has delivered a marathon 22-hour speech on the Senate floor protesting the Trump administration's sweeping policy changes. Booker spoke on racial justice, healthcare cuts, and election integrity, calling the moment at least of our democracy's soul. Of course, what he did was very symbolic. His protest has captured national attention, they say, and re-energized parts of the Democratic base. I don't know who he energized. If you guys heard anything that Cory Booker was stating, again, in my opinion, he is a Democratic shield. He's in place that's playing the game. And the only thing a lot of these black Democrats do is step and fetch and is dancing. That's all they do is just dance. Just like Al Green, was it a couple of weeks ago? The president is trying to speak. Listen, this is the leader of the free world. I don't care if you don't like him, if you don't like him. I'm still going to give the man respect. Look at the position he's in. And you up here singing these old Negro spirituals. About to make me say the N-word. These Negroes right here. But in a part of his speech, guess who Cory Booker was advocating for? He was advocating for illegal immigrants and the LGBT community. Hold up, wait a minute. Didn't Obama give the LGBT community many rights, many privileges, many benefits? Again, they tell foundational Black Americans there's no reparations. You're not going to use our tax dollars for that. But I want you guys comb through all the legislation for the LGBT community and all the foundations that were federally funded for the LGBT community. I want you to comb through all the records of the Indian Bureau Affairs and the treaty that was signed between them and the Native Americans, that they not only gave them land, but money to build on the land, and then their schools on reservations are government funded, and then they also get government checks every month, as well as they can build billion-dollar casinos on reservations. And guess what? That's using the American tax dollars, and they don't have to pay tax while they're on the reservation. They don't have to pay tax. They may, at this point in time, I don't even know, I don't follow it anymore, they may have a tax exemption card. So again, we have all these different groups receiving funding from the federal government, but every time Black people say, well, for the work my forefathers did, not slavery, see, not the torment, not the inhumanitarian acts, but for the work that was done, the riches that Black Americans have built for this country. Where's our money? You think Cory Booker said anything about that? No. Good old Cory Booker didn't say anything about that. He's talking about more rights, more privileges, and more benefits for the LGBT community. I'm not hating, but why are you not speaking up for the very same people who've never received anything in this country except for legislation with a bunch of loopholes, backdoors, and gray areas for people to violate the same registration, legislation, and amendments that's supposed to give Black Americans some equality in this country? But no, civil rights was not equal rights. Civil rights were for white women. Affirmative action was for white women. And DEI was for white women, white men, and everybody else in between. Because again, there's many reports that come out that only 4% of Black Americans benefited from DEI. Who do you believe the other 96% benefit from? Since we are the hood rats, hoodlums, ghetto, thugs, gangsters, since we're all of that, we're the welfare queens and kings. But yet, only receive 4% of the DEI, and it was proven even with affirmative action, only 3% of Black Americans receive anything from affirmative actions. So civil rights was never equal rights, at least not for us. But Cory Booker, he's talking about illegal immigration and more rights and benefits for the LGBT community. Boy, if we can have somebody on our side. If we can have somebody on our side, we'll be very, very dangerous. Unfortunately, there have been thousands of people to lose their lives between Myanmar as well as Thailand. And now they're asking, how much did America contribute to this tragedy? How much did America offer in the wake of this quake. Why does that matter? Here's my thing. If we gave $1, you're still better off than you were before. Somebody, what are you going to do with $1? More. I don't know how much more, but more. Again, see, and this is why I tend not to go right or go left, because as you see my thoughts, I see a situation for what it is. I tend not to take political sides because you just start getting dumb. People get dumb. Whether you're conservative or liberal or independent, have you ever was talking to someone from the opposing political party and they was just like, they knew all these talking points, they knew all the words, but they just sounded dumb because it made no sense, because they were looking at it very biasly. I don't look at these things biasly. It's a gift if we give you money. We're not obligated to give any country money to rebuild themselves. Yes, it will be a great humanitarian effort. Yes, all the money we've given out already. Should America give out more? Does America have more to give out? I would say this, because I care about people all over the world. I love people, right? That's why I travel to different countries, because I want to experience their culture and their temperaments and everything, right? If we have it to give, give. I don't have an issue. There's billions of dollars that have been given out without my say so or your say so. So give it. If we do not have it to give because America's $36 trillion in debt and we're actually trying to do something about it, we don't got it. We don't got it. We don't have it. We don't have it. And we shouldn't feel no way about it. When we have mudslides, hurricanes, tornadoes, and cities and towns are decimated. Quick question for you guys. Not speaking on Myanmar or Thailand, but does any country around the world give us money to rebuild? I don't know. I'm asking questions. I'm just asking questions. Salvador is hot on the map. Now, this story is out of Maryland. I hope you guys can see the graphic here. Because there was a Maryland man that had immigration advocates up in arms. And his name is, I believe, if I can recall correctly, Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Let's just call him Garcia, who was and who is a legal resident. He's a legal resident. But somehow he was mistakenly deported due to an administrative error and is now imprisoned in El Salvador. The government admits the mistake, but is still contesting his return. They admit the mistake, but they're contesting his return because they're stating that he has gang ties. His lawyer, again, very vehemently denied the accusations and are fighting to get him home safely. So again, this really begs the question about the competence and the ethics of the current deportation system. As I told you guys, when this all really started to kick off, are we moving too fast? Are things going too quickly? Because this is all new for everyone, even for the people they're doing it. So if it's all new for everyone, no one's an expert. No one's a guru. No one is a teacher. We're kind of all learning, even these people that Donald Trump has put in place, even him, even though this is second term, no president in the history has ever signed so many executive orders. He doesn't really know. He can only predict or think based on information, analytics, metrics, so on and so forth, of how it's going to form in the country. But this is all new. So some things, when it comes to human beings, in my opinion, we need to take our time with. Because instead of sending him to El Salvador, he's a legal resident, but you guys say, yeah, we made a mistake. He should have never went. But we're finding out that he has gang ties. So all good. No. He's a legal resident, American citizen. He is legally in America. That's number one, legally in America. Then two, dignity, respect, investigation, evidence. If so be it, then deport him to El Salvador. Teresa Vela is in the room. She says, hi, everyone. Black Logic, thank you for all you have done and doing. I appreciate that, Teresa. Thank you for your kind words. She stated that Cory is a hater. I'm going to call you Sadie. She said, these misleadership Negroes got to go. Like Key Sweat sings nobody. Okay. But thank you guys for joining me here this evening. Let me show you a couple of graphics here. Now, again, you guys heard me many a times before. I'm not the whole back to blue, but we need police. We need law enforcement. I am not anti-law enforcement. I am not anti-police. I am anti the brutality in police. I am anti-race soldiers with badges. I love police officers. I love law enforcement. When I'm driving through my neighborhood or I'm going to the store, I love to see officers out doing their jobs, or at least look like they're doing their jobs. Because again, having a police presence will deter a lot of crime. So be out there, roam the streets, okay? Get in your, what they call them, their cabs, their trucks, whatever they call them, their cruisers. Get out there, yeah, cruise the streets. But I'm just not back to blue, back to blue. No. No. Police officers, people who are in law enforcement, agents, okay, officers, they are human beings and they are capable of wrong. They're capable of wrong. And when they do something wrong, they should be prosecuted just like anyone else. When they do good, they should be rewarded and awarded for doing good, as anybody on their job should do. They out there, they're risking their lives. They are. But they should not be taking a life or hurting someone when unprovoked and unarmed. That's just what it is. So that's why when I'm talking about people back to blue, no, because those people are talking about back to blue regardless. I'll be true to the blue, because I'll tell the truth. But let me let you see this very quickly. Do you back the blue on this one? I'm just asking for a friend. Do you back the blue on this one?
Stop! Yo! Stop it! What the fuck? Yo.
I mean, what's going on in America where we have a police officer tackle a 14-year-old or 15 or 16-year-old, but a teenager, no less, runs over his bike, then tackle him? What type of police do we have? Is this the back to blue that people were talking about? That they're hurting teenagers? Is this the blue that everyone's referring to? Oh, they were in the street. What neighborhood kids don't play in the street, don't ride their bikes in the neighborhood in the street? Everybody has done it. It's part of American culture. Okay. All right. All right. Now, this is very interesting that I'm about to show you guys. Now, I'm just going to read what it states here. The transgender daughter of Elon Musk claims Mars colonization is impossible and is in this marketing stunt. He said this is his marketing for Elon Musk.
Oh wow, it's made another company that is single-handedly pushing humanity towards
Don't you
That,
always?
oh my God, not
when you-
fucking colonizing Mars shit. That's not happening, people. It's a marketing scheme.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it would take to colonize Mars? Do you know how long it would take to terraform that thing? It's a fucking marketing scheme that everyone somehow fell for. This is my native language, I promise. That everyone somehow fell for, despite being like debunked by a fucking Google search.
Oh wow, he's made another company that is single.
Should we discredit her claims or his claims? That is a marketing stunt, that colonizing Mars is nearly impossible. And I've thought this prior to this statement. This doesn't confirm anything. I think human beings, we can achieve anything that we want to achieve. If we really wanted to colonize Mars, we could. It would take massive amounts of resources to do so, but we could do it. Do I believe that Elon Musk can send a SpaceX spacecraft with a couple of pods to Mars? Absolutely. And have astronauts in the next 10 years live in Mars 5 to 7 years until the next window opens up for them to travel back to Earth? Yes. But do I think that Mars can be terraformed? No. Do I think that we can colonize Mars to a point where this is a secondary Earth? No. But do I think a lot of pods and little air pressurized hoses can be there in Mars and have 100 people on Mars at one time? Yes. I think there are certain elements of it that can occur, but I just think it's unsustainable. I think it's unsustainable. But again, there's people signing up to fly into orbit on SpaceX spaceships, as well as Virgin Galactic spaceships, and they're just touring the Earth. They go out of space. You know, they spent $100 million, $250,000 per seat, whatever the cost is. They shoot them out of orbit. They orbit around Earth, anti-gravity. They can look at Earth, and then they fall back down. Now, the most thrilling thing about this, in my opinion, is the G-force as you're trying to curve and exit the Earth, right? You don't have to do it on a curve. They can't just go straight up. That's why it's always on a curve. I'm very interested in space, as you can tell. But nonetheless, they orbit, they come out, and then all of a sudden it stops. And then they don't have gravity. So they get to float around, and then they just look back at the Earth, right? It is, They look back at the Earth, and that's pretty much anything that happens. And then they fall back to Earth. They have a bunch of shaking. And then once they come out the stratosphere, the parachute deploys. Then they go down to the ocean, or they land the ship, however they do it. Is that worth $250,000? I'm like, say, hey, buy a house or have this great experience, one of a lifetime experience. Give me the house, please. I watch enough space movies. I get it. Unless it's like the amount of a first class ticket. If it was $5,000, I would do it. It's more than $5,000. Yeah, I can have that experience. This is, you know what? I'll go to a roller coaster with an astronaut suit on. It's similar, but not the same thing. I get it. But nonetheless, to leave on a very good note, I want to leave on a good note here. I know this was somewhat of a fiery take by me today, because, as I told you, I was on board with a lot of the things that the Trump administration has been doing, and I still am. But I'm very critical, okay? Because again, I'm not doing the whole side things, Democrat side, Republican side. No, let's just have the truth. But let me leave you guys with this.
Oh no! Oh no! You
Turn around. Okay.
think about it. It's a baby. You want to give the cat a kiss? Whoa. Whoa.
Amelia, leave him alone. Quit.
Now, for me, that was a treat. Okay. Them cats was not playing. They busting them back in their face. But nonetheless, thank you guys for joining me here this evening. You guys have a great and wonderful night. I'll see you guys on the next one. This is Black Lives.